was not necessarily for the entirety of the game led by Steph Curry. I thought it was going to be a Steph Curry game. It was a Steph Curry game, but Buddy Hield played the Steph Curry role last night as he hit 9 3-pointers, 33 points, 12 of 15 from behind from the floor, 9 of 11 from behind the arc. Steph had 22, Jimmy had 20, Draymond had 16, also had a technical foul, which I'm sure we'll get to. But the Golden State Warriors advanced to the second round in what is probably going to be an unbelievable series against the Minnesota T-Wolves by eliminating the upstart Houston Rockets 103-89 in Houston after Houston forced a Game 7, being down 3-1 in this series. All right, now, what's more interesting to you guys? The way that Jimmy, Steph, and Hield played, or all of the antics around Draymond? He had a flagrant foul on Fred VanVleet. And a friend of mine sent me a text this morning saying it's actually almost borderline impressive, almost, how Draymond finds new ways of like hitting guys without actually kind of he was passing the ball and somehow punched Fred VanVleet in the face. I don't even know how he does it. Is it impressive? He kind of gets away with punching guys.
Here's why it is impressive, because the team needs him to set the tone in that way. If he doesn't play with that edge, then all of a sudden the Golden State Warriors fall flat. How else can you explain what happened in Game 5? How else can you explain what happened in Game 6 at home when we thought they had the closeout opportunity in the bag, which is why they set the majority of their starters in the second half in Game 5. But when Draymond doesn't play with that chip, the Golden State Warriors aren't the same outfit. But I do think there's something to be said for this group going back to Houston, having the players-only meeting led by Dre, Steph, and Jimmy, and them establishing a mindset that's going to allow them to be at their best in Game 7. And conversely, you saw the youth and inexperience of the Houston Rockets. So I think there's a little bit of both things can be true. The Houston Rockets weren't ready for the moment. They weren't ready for Game 7 intensity. There's a different level in the NBA. You have what you get in the regular season, you have what you get in the playoffs, and then you have what you get in Game 7. And I don't think that the Rockets were prepared for the level of physicality, the level of intensity, the level of attention to detail that it takes to best a Golden State Warriors team. But it starts with Draymond Green setting the tone in terms of the edge that the Warriors are going to play with.
And the way he talked about Game 6 and that players-only meeting did set the tone, too. Steve Kerr talked about that, about how Draymond took responsibility for the flagrant foul and the pouting afterwards and said he needed to be more poised. And the way that helped the conversation in that meeting influence how the guys approached it moving forward. And that's part of the reason why I thought the Golden State Warriors were so dangerous heading into these playoffs, because they do have that scar tissue. They do have that championship DNA. Guys like Draymond do know exactly what they need to do to extract the best out of themselves, their teammates, and how to influence the outcomes of games. And even though the Houston Rockets are incredibly talented and we know that they're well coached, when it comes down to it, these guys just know how to get the best out of themselves and rise to the occasion. And we saw it yet again with the Golden State Warriors.
There was so much on the line, I thought, for the Warriors last night, and they obviously eased to a victory. They were up as many as 20 in the fourth quarter. I mean, if they lost last night, the Jimmy Butler trade for this season would not have been justified. For this season specifically, because even though they're 28-11 games he plays, I promise you they could have made the playoffs with Andrew Wiggins, and I promise you they could have lost in the first round with Andrew Wiggins. Right? They had to actually win a round, and probably even more. I think it's going to be I think the Minnesota Golden State series may end up as one of the best second-round series of all time. I think this has a chance to be one of the
Not if Golden State don't play a lot better.
Well, I just think that Golden State should be really good, obviously. And I think Minnesota is a tough matchup for them, to be honest. I would right now, I'd never pick against the Warriors. I'd actually lean Minnesota personally, but I think this series has a chance to be awesome. I also would be surprised if Draymond doesn't get suspended at least for one game in the series. I almost think that's an easy pick. With Rudy Gobert across the way, he's going to...
Is Rudy Gobert even going to be on the court?
Well, that's another thing. I don't know
the way the Warriors play with that small lineup. I don't know that Chris Finch can play Rudy Gobert.
Here's a wild statement. I don't know that the Warriors want to play Gobert off the court. I almost think you want Gobert on the court.
No, I'm sure they do.
As weird as that sounds.
They want to put him in pick and roll situations and let Steph cook him. But I don't know that the Minnesota Timberwolves are just going to let that happen.
No, I think you're right about that. This is going to be a fact. I am so excited for this series.
The X's and O's.
I'm so excited for this series. Please don't have it so late at night. Do we need an 8:30 p.m. Eastern on a Sunday night game?
You know they're going to make you wait on this one.
Oh, my God.
They're going to make you wait on this
8:30 p.m. Eastern Sunday nights?
And it's going to be the 10 o'clock game during the week. You know what this is.
Oh, man.
You know what this is. This is going to be the 10 o'clock game during the week, the 8:30 game on Sunday night.
I know I sound like an old man because I am, but, like, come on. Do we really? 8:30 p.m. Eastern Sunday night for a Game 7? Back in our day, we used to get a 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and we would be a happy camper. So Tuesday is Game 1 for this series. Oh, God, it's already scheduled. It's 9:30. 9:30 Eastern Tuesday night.
Brutal.
Yeah, that's what I said. 10 o'clock, yeah.
So luckily for that series, a Game 7 would be a Tuesday night, 8:30.
So they have it.
That's still late.
They have it at the 9:30 slot. You know they ain't gonna tip off until like 9:52.
Pacers and Cavs.
You know they ain't gonna tip off until 9:52.
They're gonna milk it.
Yeah.
No, because of the way the schedule works out, like that would be a standalone Game 7 in that series by itself. There'd be no other game that day.
But no, we want to watch the 6 games prior. That's the thing.
Well, there's only right now. Obviously, tomorrow's Game 1 is at 9:30. There's a bunch of 8:30 games.
Why? Please. Why? Come on, don't do this.
There's a bunch of 8:30 games.
You know what 9:30 should be? The second playing of that game. Play that game at 7, and for those who missed it, you could watch it at 9:30. I'd like that series to be played twice. I don't want it once late at night. This is a great series. All right, there was another NBA game last night, which we will get to.
We already done with the Warriors Rockets?
All right, we can keep going on the Rockets part of it because they need to get a superstar maybe or a star or all-star. We can do that, as well as the Pacers and Cavs. Smalls says this on ESPN Bet. But by the way, Smalls, I do want to tell you something. A featured parlay tonight. You're looking at me like I'm gonna, like a dirty look.
What?
This is actually made for you. Do you know what they have right now?
Tell me.
It's a featured parlay for tonight called Backyard Dreams.
Okay.
You know, do I need some collapse, though?
Yes, indeed it was. It was a horrific collapse. I'm very upset about it.
I'm not trying, like, if you're going to bring up my team had the all-time worst playoff series in the history of the postseason. By stats and numbers, the Blues allowing a goal, game tying in Game 7 with 3 seconds to go, is the worst allowance of a goal relative to when it happened in the history of the sport.
Yeah, that's letting up a bad goal.
You think?
That's letting up a bad goal.
I was ready to go to bed. I was like, oh,
if there ever was one, that is letting up a bad goal.
Man, that was heartbreaking. And in Winnipeg, the whiteout, just the whole environment, watching them celebrate, it was bad. I'm in a bad mood.
I didn't pull the trigger on this, but I swear to God. So I was on ESPN Bet last night, and I was playing around. I'm like, I was like searching for different things. I'm like, maybe I could find something juicy here that would be interesting to win a bunch of money by putting a low amount of money in. And I swear to you, I almost pulled the trigger on a double whammy just to annoy Smalls of the Mets were losing to the Cardinals and the Jets were losing to the Blues. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, let me bet on anti-St. Louis on both of them. And I'm like, I don't want to do that to her. It'll annoy her too much. Well, then this happened, so I didn't have to worry about that. Good morning, everyone.
Cầm lên nó đã quen rồi. Lại ấn nào ba mắt tức là con 14 hay sao nhỉ? Anh 15 mà nhìn không ra. Anh chỉ có to đấy lắm. Đi chạy. Mình chờ đây anh nào. Kiểu này. Vậy chị Dung hay bảo đây kia nói gì đấy cái nói đấy nó nói theo từng chữ một ví dụ nào nó nói từng chữ một thì đây còn là cái gì nữa? Gì? Nói cái gì ở đâu? Có không nghe được vậy? Thằng kia